the edge. On the edge. On the edge. On the edge.
With Sonji on the CoyoteMan Show Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Coyote Show, CoyoteMan Show Network. All right, we back.
Yeah, in the
Donna
building.
Bruce is in the building. DonnaBruceUnlimited.com. That is my website.
Yes.
If y'all don't know anything else, y'all know Donna Bruce is in the building. And we have Sierra back with us again. Can we give it up for Sierra?
Ooh, hey guys, I'm back with Donna B on tonight.
And we have a special guest, Katrina.
Hello.
All right. So we're gonna talk. We like to talk about the topics that nobody really want to talk about. Or they
Right.
skim through it or they touch it a little bit. But I thank God for your boldness, ladies, and
Yeah.
your authenticity to come and share with us because you are healed, you're healthy, you're whole. And I have on my pink signaling for breast cancer awareness, but we are not going to talk about that. But we do acknowledge breast cancer
Whoop, whoop.
Awareness Month. I
Yes.
got the tatas checked. I'm saying, did y'all get the tatas checked?
I
Not
did.
yet.
got the
Not
ta-
yet.
well, I got my
I
tatas
actually had a
checked.
real interesting experience recently when I came back from Greece, and because I'm only 37, so it's not time yet. But I had like a black duck. But I didn't know what it was. It was like it's not that was in my breast, and I
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on. I was freaking out, but I had to wind up getting a mammogram. I'm in the ultrasound, and thank God that it wasn't cancer. But it just shows like you need to do your monthly checks.
Girl, listen, I think I'm ready to stop smoking. I had went for my mammogram and they found something abnormal and they said I needed to go back. I waited a month. So the anxiety and fear of not knowing, like, oh, what is it? What can it be? I know so many people close to me that have passed away from breast cancer. And I said, let me just go. So I went. So I had to do a sonogram and also the other on the machine, I don't know, mammogram. The mammogram and the sonogram. And while I was waiting for the sonogram, I did the mammogram, but while I was waiting for the sonogram, this lady, she was like, God bless you. I was like, thank you. Then she started saying, Father God, in the name of Jesus, we claiming healing.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
Right. Like, did you hear something?
I don't know. Like, I'm waiting for the sonogram to come.
Yes.
Like, it was just crazy, right? So now I'm freaked out. And I go in, I'm like, Miss, are you gonna give me my results today? So I'm in there and I'm bartering with God. Like, God, I will stop smoking. Just let this test come back negative. And I actually cut down. I'm down to a cigarette a day, right?
Okay.
Yes, that's
Good.
But the fear and anxiety, I am 50, I'll be 51 of the whole test and getting the mammogram and the sonogram and the lady, right? Like, I love prayer, but town is not the time to be claiming over my life healing, like as if you know something. But yes, that's enough of that. So we're going to just talk a little, you can introduce yourselves and then we're talking about domestic violence. It is October and we're still talking about domestic violence this month. And again, I brought Sierra and Katrina, and I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves a little bit.
So I am Katrina. I'm the founder of Incapable Bondage Foundation. We are an inspiring nonprofit organization that is centered around spreading healing and awareness to domestic violence, mental health, and trauma. And we have been around going on 3 years now.
Wow.
Yes,
Nice,
Katrina.
Nice.
And I am Sierra Walker. I'm the founder and the CEO of Dana's Daughters, Inc., where we specialize in holistic healing from trauma for women and adolescent girls ages 12 and up. Of course, it is Domestic Violence Month, so we're just coming off of our domestic violence event last Saturday. It was awesome. And these lovely ladies, they did their walk in our survivor walk for the fashion show. It was simply amazing, phenomenal. I even did a little walk myself.
Yes, you
Came out of
did.
my comfort zone.
Can you hold that thought and tell us more about that when we come back from a break? Because you need all of our attention. And I want to hear the whole story when we go. So we're going to go to break and we'll be right back.
We must secure our families. KFG Life Insurance Specialist is a company that partnered with 15 of the top life insurance companies to ensure you get the best pricing, knowledge, and products to suit your family needs. Some people believe that term insurance is better than whole life insurance, while others feel the complete opposite. Some may feel like universal life is the way to go, and others may feel it's better to have a whole life policy. The truth is, neither of the products are better. One just may be more suitable for your family. Our life insurance specialists are not biased, as they are partnered with several life insurance companies. This ensures our clients get the best pricing, education, and products that are suitable for their families. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist make these decisions easier for you and your family. Our office is located at Security Square Mall, next to Burlington, in the CoyoteMan Show Network. Please call to make an appointment at 443-400-5224 or go to www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. That's www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist help you prepare your family in the present, because the future is not promised. Act now.
On the edge.
With Sonji on the Coyote Man Show Network.
On the edge. On the edge. On the edge. On the edge. On the edge.
Right, guys, we are back. We are back. We are back. Coyote Man Show Network. And I really took over Sonji on the Edge show, y'all. So, Sonji on the Edge.
But you know what? It's for a good cause. Go for it, Miss Donna.
Yeah, Miss Donna. Where that young man at? Miss Donna. We appreciate Sonji. Come on, y'all. Let's give it up for Sonji. Yes. We took over her show, and we were talking about this week we're talking about domestic violence. And Sierra, you were telling us about the Survivor's Walk before we went on break. Tell us more about the Survivor's Walk, because we were in the Survivor's Walk and we had a ball. But I'm not gonna take your shine. You go ahead and talk about it. That was an amazing event.
So it was held at the La Familia Media and Arts Center. And I really shout out to Stevie. He sponsored the place for us, so we actually got that facility for free. So I really appreciate that because we wanted to do something for the community. But I just had a vision for survivors to be able to just walk. Yeah. Like, with silence, we lose our confidence during the process. And so to be able to take that back, take that power, and look good doing it.
Yes, and we look good, y'all.
Yes, we did.
Follow me on TikTok. That's Donna Bruce 06, and you will see the TikToks.
Yes, it was amazing. Shout out to Simply Tavia's Boutique, because she did a phenomenal job dressing us. Yes, I tried to steal my attire. She wouldn't let me do it.
And I bought some. I bought some too. Yes, Simply Tavia's. Check out Simply Tavia's Boutique, y'all. Yeah.
But it was amazing. And I just really felt good being able to give back, being able to have everybody incorporated in it, just to be able just to walk and to feel good about yourself, because sometimes you just lose yourself in that process. So to be able to feel good about yourself and take your voice back, take your confidence back, and rip the runway, it was amazing.
Yes. And I mean, everything that we have gone through, I've gone through personally. It's healing through art for me. So being able to walk in that show, I really appreciate it. It was an honor. So that's a great segue after Katrina already introduced herself. I get a little choked up when I start thinking about these topics, because they just start flooding. But again, we're talking about domestic violence, and it's so. I was telling Sierra, I wasn't in a committed relationship where I was physically abused by my mate. However, I watched my mother go through domestic violence. So the vicarious trauma of my mother affected me, and thank God for my father that was in a healthy marriage with my stepmom. I was 3. I'm 50. I'll be 51. She's my mom. No step, right? And all I saw was a healthy relationship with them. So that gave me an opportunity to be able to choose the kind of relationship. But still longing for relationships with women because I was seeking my mom out and other people, right? So I was taken advantage of a lot of times in those instances because they knew that I suffered with abandonment issues and just wanting to be a protector because I couldn't protect my mother, right? God rest her soul, and she's gone now. And my mother had a hard life. And like seeing her arm being broken, and like we had these codes that if she tapped twice, my sister knew to go call the police, and we lived in Flag House Projects, right? And that's what they did. It started off as a party, right? Everybody drinking and having fun and singing and, you know, shoo bop 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 bop, you know. And then by the end of the night, you know, my mom is being beaten up. You know, but through her I live, you know. So through her it gives me the courage to speak about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to either one of you ladies, and I have a few questions that I wanted to ask, but I'm gonna give you an opportunity to feel led to share what you need to share.
Sure. So for me, getting out of that relationship, like Sierra was saying, like building my confidence, that was a big thing. A big issue for me was thinking that I was pretty enough, thinking that I could go out here and actually do things. And also with that route, struggling with my mental health is also a big thing as well. So with that, just trying to figure out who Katrina was has always been a thing for me. So in 2019, that's how my foundation came about, because I realized something, you know, something a little quirky, something, you know, something's not right. And so I had to actually sit down and end up facing the things that I went through in my domestic violence relationship. I'm very transparent when it comes to that. I've had black eyes. I've had my hair pulled out. I've had to wear concealer and things like that. So this month, along with every month of the year, honestly, is very important to me. And so that's why I actually come out and I speak about domestic violence.
Wow, thank you for that.
You know, when I think about domestic violence, I feel like a lot of times we just put so many limits on it. And so even thinking about you, Donna, what you were talking about, you were saying, well, I never actually had an intimate relationship where I personally experienced domestic violence, but you just having the childhood experience, like seeing it vicariously, like having that ace, you know, being able to witness that makes you a survivor also.
Wow,
and then
like
you know, we always think about physical, right? So every time you think about domestic violence, you think about somebody being hit or beat on or being bruised, but it can be mental, it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be financial, it can be spiritual.
Well, girl, I got some stories to tell. Let me tell you. Because I didn't know that. I mean, that whole emotional piece, because I'm a fragile, emotional woman, right? Kind-hearted, giving. And like I said, you know, people would take advantage of that. And now that you say that, I could think of relationships where I was buying vehicles and I was buying clothes and $300 UGG boots, or, you know, I'll get you a job and I'll do this and I'll do that for you, and you don't worry about it, just keep the house clean, right? So that's considered.
That's considered. And then just don't think about a significant other. It comes from friendships as well, and that's something that we don't think about when it comes to, you know, violence, right? You have friends that see that, like you say, you're very fragile and you buy things and you do. So you have friends that will do the same thing and take advantage of you, even though it's not like
family members,
physical, right? They will say, oh, well, if you buy me this, I'll do this. And then if you don't do it, then it goes into something else.
Now, that went into the human trafficking for me.
Okay.
So with human trafficking, it was if you needed someplace to stay, you had to go out and do this and bring this home, or you have to bring food in. So this is just amazing because I'm always into learning new things. And so the exploitation, not the human trafficking, that's how I learned about being exploited. So that's a form of domestic violence, the exploitation piece of it. Wow. Okay. All right. I got y'all on the show, right? So I got some questions for y'all, right? Because we're not gonna make this the Donna Bruce Unlimited.com show.
Okay.
So, Katrina, my first question is for you, if you don't mind. What do you think is important for people to know about domestic violence in regards to signs, when to get out, to identify that you are being physically, mentally, spiritually abused?
I think what people should know is that most of the time we get so caught up in that, oh my goodness, you know, they love me. He doesn't want me to look at this person. He doesn't, you know, we get so caught up in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We think that it's cute. We think that it's okay. You know, honestly, that's a red flag. That should be a red flag for a lot of people. But because a lot of us do suffer from abandonment issues, a lot of us do suffer from not having someone there to love on us and care on us, that when we do get that type of affection, someone showing it to us, we don't see the flags.
Wow.
Another thing is to know that you won't be able to see all of the physical abuse that's happening. So I was a person who I was good with concealer, and you can see my complexion, but I will go and find me a good concealer now. And I was good with the concealers, but the other thing that people was unable to see was the emotional damage. I always talk about walking around with a mask on. I walked around with a mask on for years, which means that I could have been physically abused in the morning. I go to work, I have a smile on my face, I eat breakfast, I do,
Take that hat off.
all of that, all of those things, and people would not know. So just because someone says, I walk into the room, say, "Hi, Sierra, how are you today?" Sierra would say, "Oh, I'm okay." "Donna, how are you today?" You say, "I'm okay." And we leave it at the surface level. We should not, right? So you should always, I know people say, I don't want to be in nobody's business, right? But just say, oh, well, you say you're okay today. Well, what's fine about today then, right? Just an extra step that will help somebody start opening up to you. It may not be that particular day, but if you keep on going through it, they will open up to you.
See, I'm that friend that would say no.
Yeah.
So if I ask you a question and I can look at you or feel you, you know me. If I can feel that something is wrong,
I've experienced yes.
then I would say,
like, stop doing my hair.
Yes.
What's going on?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, can I just do your hair?
Can I just finish?
So
No,
I
you
have a
can't.
question for you Sierra. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back, right? So how do we know when we're being that bag lady, when we're getting into new relationships with people that it's not being transferred over into the new relationship? How do you know when? How will we know when we're healthy enough to even? And do you disclose that? So it's a two-part question. And do you disclose that to a person? Because if you're getting back into the dating scene, you know, you don't want to pour all out, hey, I'm a recovering addict and I was human trafficked and I was exploited and right. So how do you begin? How would you know?
I would say if you're getting back into the dating world and you're in your recovery process, that honesty is the best policy. So, you know, I literally was just having this discussion with my girlfriend and I'm like, you know, just be honest. Like I'm just a person that's transparent. It is what it is. I am who I am. Yes. I am where I am. And so either you can take it.
That takes work.
You know, I've honestly, I feel like I've been that person my entire life. Maybe tailored a bit or a little bit more refined or constrained because of my situations, but I've always been real about who I am and where I am. And so I think that that's important for people, that you have to do that for yourself, to be able to say, like, I'm not okay. If you're getting into a relationship, why date if you don't want to be serious with them? And so if you feel like this is going somewhere, then you need to be honest and say, hey, this is what happened to me. Maybe not the full biopic for the day, right? But
going straight into the relationship.
You can just tell a frame of that, like, you know, this is what I've experienced, because they need to know realistic expectations. Like, you can't walk towards me a certain type of way. You can't reach out and touch me a certain type of way because I remember this, like certain triggers. So to thine own self be true, be honest about where you are. And I know for me, I've been in different stages of my healing because I'm still healing. I'm not completely healed. But I just have to be real about where I am and be honest with the person that I'm in a relationship with, and also be honest enough with myself to say I'm not ready.
Yes.
I'm not ready. I don't. You
Yeah.
don't just have to be with somebody because that's the mindset. You see social media and all of these relationship goals. You got to be with somebody. You don't have to be with anyone. You can be by yourself and take some time out to learn who you are, to do the necessary work so that you can at least be healed enough to be able to maintain a real relationship and not bleed on somebody else.
Wow. That's deep. That's deep. I mean, so if you're just joining us, the topic is we're in October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as well as Breast Cancer Awareness. And tonight we're talking about domestic violence. And again, we have two awesome speakers tonight, panelists, co-authors, authors, all those great things. But they didn't just get to this point. You know, it took some work. So if you're tuning in, and I wish we had a whole thing where we can just take some questions from the audience, because it's a young girl out there right now.
Yes.
That's being abused. It's a young person that don't even understand that she's being exploited, right? And I appreciate the work that you ladies do, because you take it to the street, right? And you're open to coming to the show to share about it as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Sierra. I see you have some questions written down. You can ask me some questions. You ask Katrina some. Facebook, if you have any questions, we're talking about domestic violence and relationships and the signs and awareness and things like that. Feel free to drop them. I'll look at them. I'm multitasking. Donna Bruce Unlimited.com, right? But I'm really excited because, you know, healing has to take place somewhere. So what did that healing look like, Katrina, when you decided enough was enough? Like, when did you say, I'm done? And what did you do when you became lonely? What was the coping skill that you used, or not non-coping skill? I mean, because there's a few things that you could have done. So
for me, my healing started when I actually had to say, this is what happened to me.
Acknowledging.
I was no longer.
So let's acknowledge that this is what it is.
Embarrassed about it, because I was really, really, you know, at a point where I was like, I can't tell nobody. You know, like I can't tell nobody what's going on. But I had to start using my voice and telling people, okay, this is what happened. Yeah, girl, this is what happened to you. So that's how my healing started.
Wonderful.
Also, getting to know who Katrina was, like I said, that's an ongoing process. But trying to figure out who I was, what I liked, what I didn't like. And that came from actually spending some time alone, right? I didn't want to be by myself because I had been with my ex was actually my second abuser. So I had been with him for 8 years. So being alone, which I thought like, oh, okay, well, you was with him, but I wasn't with him. So trying to figure out.
So let me ask you a question, because you said you were with him, but you wasn't with him. So mentally, did you check out of the relationship out of fear? I mean, I know fear was there. I can honestly say that I'm clear that fear was there is why you didn't leave. But mentally, like, how were you able to be intimate with? Was it like, come on, hurry up and get this done and over with?
That's pretty much how it was. But then also one thing that people don't like to talk about is that sexual assault happens in domestic violence.
Yes, all the time.
So it wasn't, sometimes I didn't want to, and, you know, he would take it, right? And so it was those times I just was like, okay, well, you know, hurry up, do what you gotta do. And so that's another trauma on top of, you see what I'm saying? So all those things came about for me to actually, relive some things. And my slogan is, healing is a process that takes reliving what has hurt you in order to walk in your purpose.
Wow. Hey, she got this. Y'all cannot use it. So don't ask us to
Yes.
She have, what is it called? Some kind of rights to that. You know them rights, you know. Her thoughts,
That's what they
belong to her.
I say that because every time that I relive something that happened, it's a step towards my healing and being over. And I want people to know, like, don't think that your healing is going to happen. Oh, I've been out of my relationship with him a year, girl, I should be fine. No, your healing is steps. It's steps. It's physically, it's mentally, it's emotionally. You're going to go through ups, downs. You're going to be, in a happy space one day. You may be crying next week.
That sounds a little bit like grief.
No.
Because I'm grieving. My son passed. And some days I'm happy, and some days I'm sad, and and I'm sure I can't guarantee you 100% if even though it was domestic violence, you're still grieving that unhealthy relationship because it was a consistent pattern that was happening that you became accustomed to.
Exactly.
So I can identify with that as grief. So it's so many different stages that one go through getting out of domestic violence. And Sierra, if you were done, I'm going to shift on over to Sierra because that's how my brain works. My wheels start rolling. It's like, okay, let me ask this question now. I need a stenographer, right? I need a stenographer to write this stuff down, right? So, Sierra, what are some of the stages that you went through once you admit, right? So the first thing we have to do is acknowledge it, call it for what it is. What are some other, and of course, add action behind that. What are some other stages now that you are outside of it that you, and I heard you talk about triggers. So can you elaborate a little bit?
I would say another A is A for accountability. I had to take accountability for Sierra's actions, what Sierra experienced.
Was that hard for you to say, I knew that this nigga wasn't crap?
Yeah, but what was even harder was to say that this didn't just start here. To acknowledge the fact that Sierra had some childhood issues, some foundational issues that hadn't been dealt with that even led her to this situation. Like, this is not new. It's been happening all the time. And that was the hardest thing for me to really acknowledge that, because like I oftentimes talk about, you know, is that we always want to point the finger. But like my mom used to say, like, if you point one finger, you got three pointing back to you. My sister said she turned to the side, so she won't hang. Nah, but just realizing that I had some issues. Like, the reality is that I have issues, that my abandonment started before any of that ever happened, which led me to even be in abusive relationships. I had more questions than answers. I never felt my full worth. I never felt like I was necessary. I felt inadequate. I didn't know what it meant to be loved or how to love properly. And so I had to take accountability. I had to start going to counseling. But most importantly for me, and I know this is not a thing for everybody, I had to get back to my creator. I had to learn who I am. And not just in God, the blanket statement, but really developing a relationship with Christ, like knowing who I am, and really being established. Exactly.
Not what you think about me, not even what I think about me. A lot of times these days I have been saying, God, expose me to your thoughts about me, because I'm still healing. Right? And with all the different social media platforms and people are doing this and people are doing that, I can't get caught up in that. I have to get caught up in what God wants for me, right? And lately, God has been using me in so many ways, and people are like, you busy. And I get offended by it from some kind of way. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't feel busy. You know, too much is given, much is required. So this is where God is taking me at, because you don't know the nights that I've been up crying.
Exactly.
You don't know the nights I've been up walking the floor.
Yeah.
You don't know what I have lost, what I have gained. Like, you don't know. You think you know. Persons think they know. As you say, you can walk into the job and say, how you doing? And everybody's fine. But you don't know me waking up 3 o'clock in the morning, feeding my spirit, and to be able to perform, because an empty vessel can't give nothing, right? And God has been showing me that everything that you have been through, Donna, is to help someone else. Like, my inbox is so flooded with women who have lost a child or just need emotional support. So that takes me to my next question, self-care. So what practices do you use for self-care? Once you're out, you acknowledge, you take accountability. So now I have to maintain my spirituality or maintain my healthy lifestyle, because as long as your God is like loving, like you're not worshiping some Satan, right? So it could be Allah or whatever God that you choose. But how, for me, mine is God, Jesus Christ. I acknowledge him. He say you ignore me. And what did he say? You know that one.
Yeah, that
you
one.
know that one. I know that one too. Like, if you can't acknowledge me down here, don't come up here and talk to me. No. Jesus Christ, yes.
Like, no.
So what are some things that you do to maintain that balance, to be emotionally strong enough to be able to just come on to the Coyote Man Show Network.
Can I be honest? I'm just starting to learn what that B word means, the balance.
Really?
Yes, because my family would get on me, friends would get on me like, you guys running.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great. Like, of course, I understand my assignment, you know, that I'm supposed to connect with people, help women be healed, even some men too. But what about Sierra?
Yes.
So I'm so focused on helping people. Even in therapy, when my therapist was asking me questions about myself, like, if your affirmations, how do you see yourself? All of my affirmations were work oriented, or like I'm doing something. Well, I'm a goal oriented, and you know I'm a high achiever, right? And it's like all of those things are true, but this is not a resume,
right?
You know, how do you view Sierra? You know, what do you need to do for yourself? And so now she's pushing me and mandating that I at least implement 15 minutes a week, which has been extremely difficult because I'm very busy and always have things happening in this space. And then by the time I'm done, I crash and now I'm back up and we have to start all over again. So like I said, I was telling my girlfriend, like, even for next month, November, I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
So I'm not going to be...
Except come to DB.
Well, I'm coming to that.
Hair and
Make sure that you go to the fashion show. I had to get up in there. Make sure, put on my sexy voice. Make sure you come to the fashion show.
Make sure
on the 12. But I mean, that's just showing up. I'm not doing anything. But as far as work, I'm really am dedicating that month for healing, to take time. If I want to travel, if I want to take a bath, if I want to sit outside and drink some tea, if I want to have a glass of wine, if I want to watch a movie, if I don't want to answer my phone,
don't answer.
That's what Sierra's going to do in November, because December's going to pick back up, and then I'm going to be busy again. Shout out to that book release that's happening on December the 3rd.
Wait a minute. Can we
Shameless
get some
plug.
What is this book?
Yes. This book is The Greatest Story Never Told. Like we began sharing last week, but The Greatest Story Never Told is sharing survivor stories. This is an awesome project because these women are going to write, and I'm saying it publicly in front of everyone, every person that's in this book will write another book. And there are others who are coming up behind us who now want to share their story. So there will be a part 2 through infinity. The Greatest Story Never Told. Monologues, some drama scenes, maybe a movie.
Come on,
like we're trying to go as big as possible.
And you heard it here first.
That's
on
right.
The Sonji take over.
Yes.
Donna took over. I did it.
So, do you think, Sierra, by you setting back with learning balance, that you're actually learning to set boundaries?
Yes.
Boundaries
I
are
am.
healthy.
And finding that, putting value on myself.
Yeah.
Because I put value in everybody else, and I can see the great in you. I can see the goodness in you and everything that you have going on. But what about me?
Yes.
You know, and I was talking to my therapist about this earlier today, actually, you know, just about putting that spotlight back on me. Like, because Sierra, you're great too.
Yes, right.
You know, you have a lot to offer too.
You are.
You know, you do a lot too.
Amazing.
But
you are amazing.
but it doesn't mean anything if I don't believe it.
And it
you
feels
don't believe
weird.
it.
Yeah.
Like for me, it feels weird to say, like, Katrina, you're doing good,
Mhm.
right? So what I do is I switch it, right? Yeah, Katrina's doing amazing, but Sierra,
Mhm.
right? So that's part of trauma, you know.
Yeah, and I can relate to that because it's a fine line with being puffed up and giving yourself, because at one point I was just puffed up. Look at me, hey, it's me. And now there's a level of humility that this is who I am. I am excited about this new Donna, right? And I want to share this with everybody, but everybody is not going to receive it. And if I'm not careful, I will listen to the naysayers and the negative things, and they'll remind me of who Donna used to be or what Donna has been through.
Right.
And so that's why I continually stay excited about who I am and who I'm becoming, because God, if this is a glimpse of what you have for me, then I'm looking forward to the rest. Not saying that I don't have my rough days, but I have the word to lean on. And it's one thing to know the word and quote the word, but it's one thing to understand it and
Yes.
apply it and believe it in your heart. And it's like a lot of things, even in my personal recovery, it's one thing to know about recovery and change some things in your life, but truly activate that recovery in your life and it's pouring over into others' lives. It's like nobody but God get the credit for that.
Yeah.
That's it.
God
That's
gets
it.
the credit for all of it. So who am I not to go the extra mile for someone who needs it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also understanding, Donna, it's time for rest.
Yeah.
You know, my aunt called and texted me, was like, yeah, you're doing great. But be sure to get some rest. You know, and I'm like, okay. She dropped this because that's how my aunt is, right? You know, I'll call her.
Yeah.
She just dropped a little seed. Rest is important. And she's a therapist, right? And I'm like, oh,
Yes.
okay.
You're like,
I
okay.
promise I'm going to take some rest. I'm going to get some rest. After the show, I'm going to rest. I promise. I'm going to get some rest. And what does that rest look like for me? I don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll call you ladies. Like, what kind of rest we doing today?
Right.
Because, you know, I mean, at my job, I'm helping a lot of persons, but I'm sitting. So, you know, when I move, you know, I'll be, hey, where we going? What we doing? You know, but I'm going to figure out what that rest. So that's my assignment and my takeaway is to find out what that rest look like and how will that entail, whether that is filling up the bath water, get a candle, dip, don't just jump in the water, but try to get into the water until, you know, it's no ruffles in it. So that was an assignment that I had for self-care for myself. And look at the candle while I'm getting in the water, but don't just jump in the water, just kind of like ease into the water, you know. So that was one assignment that I was working on. I think I'll probably go back to that this weekend before the week. So I'll commit to doing that.
Okay.
So, Sierra, whatever questions you have.
We actually, see, that's how God works. We actually touched on a lot of things that I was going to ask about. But I guess one question I just had for Katrina and you, or just what does it mean to be a survivor for you?
It means that I am here. That I have, you know, I have arrived. That's what it means to me, because I would have never thought that I will be out of that relationship because I was so caught up in, you know, in him. And so to be a survivor means that I now can help others and say, hey, you know, you don't have to be or stay in that situation or in that relationship. Being a survivor means that I am able to impact so many people. I want to help. Of course, you know, we want to help everybody. But also being a survivor means that, again, I have to face some things that did happen, that did go on. And just not being a survivor of domestic violence, but also being a survivor of abandonment from my mom, right? So I have to face a lot of things with being a survivor. So for me, just I am here, I have arrived, and I'm about to show you what it means to actually, you know, heal and be great for yourself.
Wow. Great
That's
answer.
awesome.
I got a question.
Oh,
Okay.
sure. From the
Hey
audience.
guys, it's Sonji. I have a question. It's Sonji of On the Edge. You know, the show they took over.
Oh, yeah.
They're so adorable. I love them. Always act like I'm older than everybody. They're so adorable. But so how do you, as a survivor, what type of defense mechanism, I would say, or what do you have in play to not pick the same type of person?
Oh, that really started with me. So me starting to do the work on me, it's what led me to choose differently, or to choose differently, I should say, because when I was focused on just what happened to me, when I was just focused on the abuse, and I could name the whole list of, well, this happened and that happened, but when I actually started dealing with me, the me in it, it's what protected me and set boundaries and helped me to choose partners that were different than what I had in the past, because I knew that it was wrong.
Right.
I knew that I was choosing the wrong people. I knew that I was ending up in the wrong situations, but I would still revert back to it because that's what I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the part of my brain that had been distorted by the trauma would go back to the dark spaces. And so that's what I desired. So once I started to work on myself and heal that portion, I didn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it just felt abnormal, like why it's disgusting to me even. And so I want all things good, all things pure, all things that's going to uplift me, upbuild me. The same things that I give out is what I'm seeking to get back in.
That's awesome because I was just thinking about that because a long time ago, long time ago, people used to say that I always attract people that weren't quite right in the head. I don't want to say the word.
Mentally ill.
They just like, wait a minute, somebody told you? No. But they would say that. I'm not that way, but what I was attracted to was the high energy, and a lot of people who have those issues, they have their highs and their lows, but most of the time you see the highs.
Right.
So that's
all the
bipolar.
manic.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Yes, you see the highs, and that made me draw to those type of people.
Because they can keep going and going and going and
In many ways, they can keep going.
Yes. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. In many ways. The Energizer Bunny.
That's part of the attraction that make you end up in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. So, but you nailed everything. Like you just nailed it as far as once you start wanting the positive things, then that's what's gonna come your way. You know, instead of those other ones that everyone always say, "Girl, what are you, like a magnet for the not so quite right?"
yeah.
Let me just say that.
And Sonji, I can relate to that song.
Yeah. Don't want to be right.
And Mr. Can't get right. What's wrong with you? And then you do begin to look at yourself like, is there something wrong with me? Why do I keep attracting these people, right? Like my husband, I am a woman of many. It takes a certain type of man to deal with me. I'm just going to say that. And it's because of the trauma I have gone through, right? And my husband he's from round the way, right? And he's not that, Donna, what do you need, dear? He ain't like that at all, right? And he'll be saying, rah, 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 rah. And I'll be like, we've been together 8 years. What? 10 years. Why are you talking to me like that? Because he triggered something in me. And he was looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, something really is, when you yell, it takes me back to being that little girl. Because before I watched my mother get beat up, there was a lot of yelling
right.
in the house, right? So I had to disclose that to him, that when you talk like that, it triggers me and it makes me feel afraid, right? And at first, he didn't get it probably for 2 years, 3 years maybe. He thought it was just whatever. Man up. Stop acting like a little punk. I'm not acting like a punk.
We're still quiet.
Why are you talking to me? And he could say something like, well, why you lay the food on the damn camera? And he cursed, and I just, right?
Yeah.
But he began to listen to me.
That's it.
Right? And so he would have to come back and say, I'm sorry. Like what? Because I forgot about it, because at one point I said that's just who he is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But after seeing a therapist, it was like you guys both have to work at this.
Yeah.
If you know that your wife has gone through all of this, and if you know your husband, the third wife has gone through this, then you can't say certain things like that. You can't do certain. So it takes both of us to work at this marriage, right? So I thank God for my marriage, because he bring all of him and I bring all of me, and I don't try to change him and he don't try to change me, but we sacrifice when it's some things that I want to say, and it's some things he want to say that we don't do that because of the past that we have. So because I was like, he's totally different from every other guy I ever met, right? And then one day I put him and my father in the room together. They got each other the same Christmas gift for Christmas.
Wow.
They just they know nonsense. I'm the go out. Come on, babe, let's go to the gala. No, I'm good. You go ahead, right? I don't have time for none of that. Come on, babe, let's go. No, I don't want to do that, right? So we balance each other out on that, and I don't even know where that came from. We were talking about relationships, right?
But you know, I appreciate this, Sonji speaking, guys. I appreciate the point that you made about the yelling because I was told that men usually, you know, they may raise their voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a masculine thing. To the children and things like stop, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but if you've been through anything, that may be a trigger, like you said.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if my significant other raises his voice a little too much, I lose it.
Mhm.
I go to another level, and
Mhm.
I don't go feminine. I go masculine.
Yes,
Yes.
all the way.
Because it's
He
either
ready to
fight
sit me
or flight.
down.
Yes.
It's fight or
Sit
flight
me
with
down.
us.
Yes.
So you're the opposite of me. I actually shut down.
Okay.
And that's even
Right.
scarier.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with me, I don't say anything. I shut
That's
down.
the one you don't
right?
fall
And
asleep.
I sit there.
Yes.
Mhm.
Don't fall
And so,
asleep.
yeah, and so,
Cause she plotting.
you see my husband be like, "Do you hear me talking to you?" Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you.
But I also see what I'm doing to you in my head. I see
So,
how.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite. Of
And
that.
I should shut
Yeah.
down. I should
Right.
shut my mouth.
So, Sonji, your
I should need
takeaway
to
from
shut 'em out.
tonight's show,
Right.
domestic violence, is keep
Shut
your
your
mouth shut.
mouth.
Right.
I should chill, you know.
But you know, here's the thing. Back in the day, it was acceptable to beat your wife.
Yeah.
Right,
Color
which is
purple.
crazy.
That's
Beat her.
crazy. Yeah,
It is.
Beat her.
Ex
Like,
told me
yeah.
that. He said the men on the block because he apologized to me. He said the men on the block told him that you need to put your hands on her, but they ain't say it like that.
Right.
To keep
Whip
her
her.
in check.
Quick-
You know what I'm
right.
saying? This
Like
is what
you do
you're
your
supposed to
kids.
do, right? And so I was after
Now,
no.
you know, that's taking us all the way back to Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
If we
Mhm.
really want to go that deep into it,
Yeah.
because that's how they kept us in line.
Right.
They would abuse us in
Mhm.
front of the male, and the male couldn't do anything about it to protect us,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? And then that behavior transferred over into the
Mhm.
homes, because now they're in a marriage and they're beating on the wives, and the wives never went. I used to say, how could they be with somebody for 35, 40 years and they sleeping in two different rooms?
Right.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Because there was a lot of abuse that was
Yeah,
going on,
Yeah.
but they
another
vowed
room.
not to
Right.
separate. Domestic violence.
Be
That's,
another
Well,
house.
that's what the
Yeah.
gentleman was saying at the event, though, on Saturday.
Yeah,
Remember,
he
he
did
stood
say
up
that.
and he was kind of talking about it. And honestly, it was like respectfully, I was kind of taken aback by some of the things that he was saying, because I'm like, I understand what you're saying, sir, but we live in a different time,
We
and
live
that
in
is
a different
unacceptable.
time.
There's no
Yeah.
way that. He's like, well, they used to just beat women. Now they're killing them. That's the problem. No, the problem was from the
You still
beating.
beat, yeah.
Right. When it
Yeah.
started there. None of it is
But I
okay.
think what he was trying to say with that was, back in the day, it was a code that, like, women and children were off limits, right? To a certain extent, I think that's what he was trying to say. But now they're killing the women, right?
Mhm.
But he did say, he stated it just like that, like it was okay to beat a woman,
Right. But now they're
but
killing
not
them, so
killing
it's a
them. Now they're
problem.
killing them.
Yeah, it's the same
But
thing because you're
what
killing
we're
her
talking about is
emotionally.
domestic
That's
violence,
right.
because when I was working at the jail, it was plenty of young girls that was in there for murder, for killing their husband, their
Mhm.
boyfriends.
And I understand why.
Yeah.
And see, that's why for me, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think
Your
I'm
eyes
both.
got big with that CL.
Oh, 'cause I would.
Yeah.
Because I think that, and maybe it's the Gemini of me or whatever. I don't necessarily subscribe 100%, but people around me say so, right? And so I think I do both. So I'm either going to fight, we're going to fight, or I'm going to
Fight.
freeze, and now I'm plotting.
Yeah.
And so I'm very calculated. So
Yeah.
I have like the Equalizer, the movie. So I've
Yeah.
already mapped out my 10 steps. Like I know exactly what I'm going to do. And see,
Yeah.
that's why I needed Jesus, because I could not
She
be
said, "I needed
that
Jesus."
person, because I could. I know that I could do murder for hire and get away with it just the way that my wine works, but that's not the person that I want to be.
Yeah.
And so why put myself in a situation where now I'm plotting on your death? I know that my kids not going to be taken care of. I probably put money on the side. Like that's the
that's
type of
it.
plotter I am. I got
Yeah.
money prepared. Make sure they're
See, I'm
good,
that
and this is what I'm
quiet
gonna
person,
do.
Like Katrina, I get very quiet and I
Mhm.
get very vindictive,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I'm putting charges out on you. I'm gonna make up some charge, because I'll do it.
Oh my.
Yeah, the white people way. I'm gonna take you.
So,
I'm
so
gonna have
who's the abuser?
right.
Right, but see, that's what happens. We
This is
become
what-
abusers.
Yeah, that's the,
Right.
the
Yes,
abusers
we do.
That's
become
exactly
the
what I'm
abuser.
Yeah.
We do.
Because out of hurt and out of fear,
Yeah.
and now I need to. You hurt me, like I've been with you, and you hurt me,
Mhm.
so now I'm gonna hurt you more, and it's just crazy how that whole vicious cycle
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
unless you do some healing.
Yeah.
Unless you
Definitely
what?
have to heal.
Admit,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge, admit, okay, I am in an unhealthy relationship. I acknowledge it. I admit that I have played my part in it. I am not a victim in any of this because people will play victim. It happened to me. It happened to me. You stayed in it, right? And for your reasons, not to discount, but for your reasons.
That's
Until
the
one
part.
day you say, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something about this problem, right? And you get the courage, and then you begin to share with people, and the resources and the people come and gather around you, right? Just the whole process of just staying healthy in the midst of it, and just to be able to come back and pour back out. So I just want to thank you ladies for coming on to the Sonji takeover. Really
Donna B, right?
Flip it.
Yes.
So I
You know,
just want
since I'm taking over, I just want to make one point. Oh my goodness, I appreciate you ladies coming today and just giving out all this wealth of information. And one thing that y'all did make a point of, and that we just made a point of, is not becoming that abuser.
Yeah.
And we got to make a conscious effort to not become what we hate the most.
Yes.
And that's in anything.
Yes.
Because once you start talking, and I like the way you guys expressed the accountability part of everything. And so we can't be deemed in any list of any YouTubes that we are pointing fingers at anyone, because we point fingers at ourselves first, and we take it further. And I definitely appreciate you guys coming out.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We thank you. Do we got a week left? What y'all want to talk about next week? Who we bringing on the show?
I think this is it, Donna.
This is it.
I do. I think this is it. Next week is November.
We coming back.
All right, we're going to figure out what's happening in the month of November besides the DB Ashley V Hair and Fashion Hair Show.
Let's bring them on. Let's bring those models. Let's bring those
Listen, guys, so this
stylists on.
event is to bring awareness to mental health and substance use disorder. It is a huge event. We are bringing healing to Baltimore City. We have the DC Wellness Mobile that will be coming screening for mental health.
Yes.
We will have therapists there on site. It's at the War Memorial Building. The tickets are only $25. We
That's
made
it.
it $25 so persons can come.
Yeah.
50 is for the VIP for my after party because my birthday November 14th. Just so my Cash App is. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. But we are going to bring a night of healing to Baltimore City. For ticket information, 443-780-6939, 443-780-6939, because we are healing holistically within every area.
That's right.
Because if we really look at the domestic violence, I'm sure a lot of mental health played a part in it.
Absolutely.
Yes, it did.
So if we learn what the signs of mental health is, and if we provide those resources to persons, and especially our black males, our black males are not getting checked or diagnosed for mental health.
Yeah.
It runs in the family sometimes, right? So we have to start addressing these issues of mental health. It's real. It's real, especially it's like taboo, right? Oh, I'm not crazy. Listen, the therapist got a therapist, all right?
Yes, we
Okay, so I am looking for a new therapist. I got some new therapist girlfriends that I met on this journey, so I'm gonna be reaching out. Right? But I say that we are excited to be here tonight.
Yes.
Thank you, Katrina. Any last words you want to say?
Just take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. And just like I always say, healing is a process that takes reliving what has hurt you in order to walk in your purpose. And if you ever need to see somebody that's walking in their purpose after going through something, you can look at me. I'm very transparent about my journey. And I do Mindful Mondays every Monday on Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to see
can
how...
you find that?
It's incapable_bondage, where you can find me Instagram, Facebook, and you'll see me on there. I'm not as modest as I am on here, so like I say, it's raw on there. So
It's all right.
We like raw.
Yeah.
That way.
Sierra, any last words?
Just want to encourage anybody that's just been going through any type of abuse or any type of trauma that healing is available to you. Make sure that you are accountable to yourself about what has happened to you. do the work that's necessary so that you can be healed and whole. Make sure that you follow us on Dana's_daughters_ on Instagram. And we are getting ready to start a new group on Facebook, which is called Hey Girl Heal, Holistically Evolve and Live Accountability Group, beginning November 1st. We're getting down to the raw nitty gritty of things. We're talking about foundational issues, dealing with the inner self-healing. If you are looking for a platform that's safe and you want some safe spaces to be able to open up and be honest with, then Dana's Daughters is that for you.
Wow. All right. And y'all already know where to find me. DonnaBruceUnlimited.com. Donna Bruce on Facebook. Donna Bruce on Instagram. Donna Bruce Unlimited. Donna Bruce. She's a brand, right? She is. So I am officially giving Sonji her show back. Can I get some? Her show.
We're going to see you guys again soon. I'm hoping you guys want to come on and do your own thing. I'll be most, what can we say? It would be my pleasure to produce your show.
Okay.
You guys talk about it. All right.
All right.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
With Sonji on the Coyote Man Show Network.
On the edge. On the edge. On the edge. On the edge.